Hi, good morning. Joseph Atta is my name. Speaking to you live from Ghana, West Africa. I am in Takoradi, Western region. I'm recording to you from my room. You are welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth, which refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. I attend Church of Christ. The page has two purposes as follows. One, to share the word. John 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. You can prove by going to Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word for God there is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus Christ, the Word, and God the Holy Spirit. 2, to share the truth. John 8:32. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. What is the truth manifestation? John 14 verse 6. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The phrase except through me means that there is no any other way to go to the Father. We mean heaven. I welcome all my viewers from all over the world. Australia, USA, Dubai, Nigeria, South Africa, India, and everywhere in the world. I use English to teach because every parent is sending his or her child to school to tell you that literacy reigns. So literacy has taken over. If not, why is it that all parents are sending their children to school? Even in Ghana, free SHS or a secondary school has become free and compulsory. So each ward must attend free senior high school. Whether you like it or not, I say it to be good, precisely based on those that have seen from benefiting. At least the fees alone or the admission fee alone is not easy. So in some ways has been helping some parents. Now, Mining for the Truth is 1 year. And God be praised. I began it, of course, with God. 25th November 2023. So 25th November 2024, being Monday, was the 1 year celebration. Officially, I thank all my viewers, my listeners, my followers, my donors, those who are donating. People are donating from Ghana. So I have only one person from Ghana who has donated, and this was what he donated. Oraimo. I think you can all see it as Oraimo. Oraimo earbud. Oraimo earbud. This is the box. I want you to see, because it was someone's contribution. I'm not doing this to prove anything, but at least in case the person watches, he becomes happy. Of course, he's a man. And I want you to know what you have in the content. So, you see how it is sealed. So this is the earbud. It's Oraimo earbud. Fresh in box. Even came with a charger. Cable for charging. This is the cable for charging. In case you want to see, this is the cable. It's Type C. Type C earbuds. So this is the Oraimo itself. The earbuds itself. This one. So fresh in box as the person donated to me for free. The name is called Oraimo Freeport 4. Very expensive. Oraimo Freeport 4. Maybe you will see it well. Very, very, very expensive. Oraimo Freeport 4. So, thank you, my brother from Ghana. He's not a Christian. Unfortunately, he isn't a Christian. So you see the world that we are living in. The person who donated is not a Christian. I mean, not a member from my church. So God bless him so much, my brother, for this gift, and has been helping me a lot in my ministry. At times, I need the earbuds to teach, and then someone who bought me this tripod. Tripod. So now you see that my phone is no more here, but in front of me. So the phone has been fixed in this tripod. And there's a sack to contain the tripod. In case I want to travel with it, I can easily hang this, and then my tripod will be in. A foldable one. Very good. And this gift was from Australia. The person sent me money to go and then buy it. And from USA, I received money for data. The tripod is nice. It came with a remote. So you see that I can easily control my teaching. In case I want to end it, I can easily end it. If I want to pause, I can easily pause it. So it's very nice. Has a volume control and everything here. Then from Dubai, he sent me data, and this time round on Sunday, this very Sunday, 24th November 2024, he brought me this tablet. I'm coming. Huge tablet. I hope you can see it. I am handling with caution so that it will not fall down. Huge tablet. So there's the back. The back is a scratchless. Okay. So I don't need a cover. So you see how it is. Let me bring it closer. Samsung. It is 9.6 inches. So we say Samsung Galaxy Tab E. 9.6 inches. Very big. So nowadays, I'm going to use this to teach. And this came from Dubai. So you see how I've been donating. So from USA is money. Dubai, now I have my tablets. Australia, I have my tripod, and then money. He sent me money continuously. And from Ghana, I have my Oraimo earbuds. Freeport 4. I mean, latest version. Okay. May God bless you so much. As a matter of fact, may God bless you so much. I didn't expect to get this from anywhere. And may God use this to multiply your incomes. May He also give you positions to rise from your current status to a higher rank. May God bless you so much. From Ghana, Australia, Dubai, USA. I am just happy. Now, I began mining for the truth with 7,300 Ghana cedis. 7,300 Ghana cedis. So you can change into dollars and see what you get. 7,300 Ghana cedis. My phone is not near here, otherwise I would have checked for you. 7,300 Ghana cedis was the amount that I used to start the ministry. In fact, I was left with 30 Ghana cedis. that means December 2023, I was left with only 30 Ghana cedis. And you see, from December, I was on vacation, so I was in the house throughout January. You see, January is a difficult month for almost everybody in this life. But God made a way. He made a way. Now, within December, after I spent almost all my money to start the preaching, I got a gift, 4,950 Ghana cedis, almost 5,000 cedis. And as at now, I cannot recall how and where the money came from. Through gifts. I was just gifting. So this should tell you that when you have a good mindset to work for the Lord, He blesses you in His own ways. I was surprised. I didn't labor for the money. It came to me voluntary, and then unknowingly. I never knew that such amount will come to me. So that helped me from December, January, February. So I was having enough money. And I began the ministry with 1 terabyte of data. And it has finished. At least it took me through October. And it was closer to November when it finished. 1 terabyte of MTN data was 1,500. And it is still 1,500 Ghana cedis. I'm hoping that they're not going to increase it. So for now, I am out of data. Of course, I will buy. I'm hoping that I will get money to buy before December will end. Having said that, I was just trying to introduce you to Mining for the Truth. Once again, if you want to donate, my number is 0248 026557 0248 026557. Now we move on with what I have for you today. Now, last week we ended with building Christian families. Building Christian families. And then we looked at the responsibilities of the father, the mother, and the children. And the last episode 5 was on the 5 responsibilities of the children. I gave a sermon afterwards being irresponsible liability, because I said I was tired, so I had to rest. So I'm going to start a new teaching altogether. This one will be in a form of episodes, and it will not be that easier for me. You see, teachings in episodes are very difficult to do it. To take one text and treat multiple teachings under it is not easy. Now, the title is Train Up the Child in the Lord. Train up the child in the Lord. Train up the child in the Lord. Proverbs 22 verse 6. So theme is train up the child in the Lord. And the topic is responsible parenthood. Responsible parenthood. Train up the child in the Lord. Responsible parenthood. So my text is only one. Proverbs 22 verse 6, of course, from King Solomon. So let's read and then we move on. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. I repeat myself. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Even when, the B aspect, even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, today is an introduction. So, episode 1 is just an introduction. And then subsequently, we will deal with the text itself. And then we will know. Of course, I will mention to you all the objectives for the teaching. That's when I'm done with the introduction. Or before then, let me even give you the objective for the teaching. So one, or you can say A, to know the concept of train up. So this means that next week's topic will be, God's willing, it will be the concept of train up. And under 8 we have the 4 stages of train up. II, the meaning of the acronym train. III, the 15 precautions of train up the child. B, to comprehend the biblical perspective on single parenting and parenthood. Genesis 2 verse 24. The same thing is found in Matthew 19 verse 5. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 to 12. To comprehend the biblical perspective on single parenting and parenthood. So it means we're going to compare between parenting and parenthood. C, to comprehend the meaning of the phrase, train up the child in the way he should go. D, to know parents who trained up their children in the Lord. So we will discuss about Eunice and Lois, Hannah, Joseph, and Mary. E, drawbacks of failure to train up a child in the Lord. When people refuse to train their children in the Lord, what are the consequences? F, restrain thy child. Restrain thy child. We will look at Eli and Samuel. You know Eli. And then Samuel. G, do not leave your children behind. Do not, meaning that when you're going to church, do not leave your children behind. H, the age of accountability. The age of accountability. They must be accountable. So under 8, we will look at preparing children's mind to follow Christ. Under 8. I, reasons for their employment. We mean why children must be employment. They must be employed. They must be eager to work, to make money. And after that, G will be preparation towards marriage. Preparation towards marriage. So there are 10 objectives. 10 solid objectives. So it means that I will have episode 1 to 11. As I said, today is an introduction. And it is episode 1. Now, children are a heritage from the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is a reward. Psalms 127 verse 7. Psalms 127 verse 7. Now let's see what the Bible is saying. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. So it is not by force that every couple must give birth. And then now heritage means an inheritance. That's all. Heritage is a noun, means an inheritance or property that may be inherited in future, or a property that may be inherited. The word is maybe, so it could be, it may come in or not. So to sort of mandate once again that when you marry, you must give birth. Not all were created to marry and give birth. Some will even come earlier, some at the far end. Normally they are saying that a woman stop to give birth after 45 years. But it's not true. We have cases where people are about 50 years, 47 years, 46 years. They have all given birth. You see, human beings are not God. If we're a doctor or a nurse, you are not a God. You understand? You are doing what we call tentative, trial and error. You didn't create the human body, so you cannot also judge it. Maybe you judged based on your artificial knowledge, but God created you. He created the body, so the system belongs to Him. He knows what to do. There are so many instances where these physicians have lied to us in vain. So people are now even fed up. So they don't listen to them anymore. They don't even believe in them anymore. And now sometimes it is true. Because not all went to school to learn. Some went there for certificates, for their employment, and they didn't study. So therefore, they are doing they Google your issue and then they give you the answer. If you're not careful, you go and then you hang yourself. That's why we must always pray. Prayer is our only redemption if you are a Christian. All right. So we think that children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. They are similar to molten iron. So children are similar to molten. When we say molten, we mean iron, which is hot. When a scrap or when scraps are melted, scraps, we all know scraps, offcuts, waste that we don't want in terms of metals. When they are melted through extraction or for extraction, the end product becomes liquid. So we say molten liquid. So children are similar to molten iron. So the liquid becomes the iron. Form them well using a mold. So children must be shaped. They must be formed using a mold. Now, a mold is something that we prepare for the pouring. So when the molten iron is poured in, it will solidify, and then later we do what we call fettling. The mold is dismantled, giving us the shape of what we want. So, for example, I can have a cup, and then you pour in water. Put this water in the freezer. At the end, you get what we call iced block. In fact, we don't say ice block. I mean ice block. I-C, ice block. No. Iced, I-C-E-D. The thing has formed already. So you don't say ice block, ice water. No. Iced water, iced block. If you must learn well if you are a student or if you want to proceed in academic affairs. Iced water. So at the end, the water will solidify from liquid to solid. And you see that we can pull the block from the cup. So the cup will be there as one entity, and then you can have the ice block. This ice block will take the exact shape of the cup. Same thing happens in production or in extraction of metal or in what we call casting. Normally we even use the mold in casting. So you see that the molten iron is poured in the mold, and at the end the molten iron takes the shape of the mold. We call it casting, to melt an ore. So we say that children are similar to molten iron. Form them well using the mold. And what are we saying? You are to train them so that they will imitate you. You train them with respect to how you want them to become and how you want them to be in future. B. We are living in an age, this a very century, where children feel that the consent of their parents is not vital. Yes, you are there and your ward will come and tell you that I'm getting married. In fact, some are even pregnant, the girls. Some get themselves pregnant before the parents are aware. So it means that they have chosen their partners already. But when you read the social studies, I remember when I was in second cycle, I didn't attend a secondary school. I went to technical education, so I had to go and sit as a private candidate. Ghana, we say NOVDEC. So it means that it was a remedial for just 10 months. And by God's grace, and I had my core subject at ease. Now, we will learn the subject called social studies. So our teacher was saying that, Mr. McKinnon, may God have mercy upon you. Now he's dead. He's very good. He taught us for just, I think, October, November, December, January, February, I think, to April. And then he ended. He was supposed to finish his teachings around November, but up to, I think, August, no, up to April, he said he was done with all what he needed to teach. And God be so wonderful. All what he taught came in the other. Even some came in the English as a comprehension. When you are taught better in social studies, because most of the topics, for example, teenage pregnancy, the marriage as an institution, most of them, alcoholism, most of them come in the English comprehension. So I also pass the English at ease. You just need to be good in grammar. So by April, he was done with his teaching. And I remember that in social studies, when we were studying about the family, the institution of marriage, yeah, I think so, he made mention that even in the olden days, the child has the right to choose his or her partner, but his choice is subject to the father's approval. Even in the olden days. However, we are also aware that in the olden days, children had the right, parents were choosing a marriage partner for their children. Some wanted to go their own way. Now, no problem with that. But the book was saying that the child has the right to choose his or her partner. But his choice or her choice is subject. The word here is subject to the father's approval. So it means that the father must approve. Not even the mother. But the father has to approve that, okay, after doing all the background checks, before he approves. So even in the olden days, marriage was not so that you go and then bring in your own wife. The parents will decide that we will not be part of this ceremony. So you go and hire someone to go and then act as a parent. And that's a hypocrisy. Anyway, so we say that we are living in an age where children feel that the consent of their parents is not vital. They want to be autonomous. They want to do what they want, and that is indiscipline and disobedience. In the beginning, it was not so. You find this anywhere in the Bible, that God allowed parents to also allow their children to choose what they want. No. At least, there might be a discussion. Even if we have such cases in the Bible, at least there should have been a discussion. However, we have children in the Bible who are very stubborn. Anyway, we move on. The term boomerang generation, boomerang, refers to young adults who leave home, try to live autonomous life, but fall and fail on hard times and return to parents. Let's read the story, though I will not read everything. Luke 15, verse 11 to 32. So we say prodigal son, the prodigal son. I'm not going to even read everything. So by paraphrasing, he forced his father to divide the inheritance because he wanted his share. So the father did so, gave him his portion. He left the home or the house, wanted to live his own life. He even had to eat the food for the pig, or he ate with the swine. And when he had misused everything, he had to return back home. And the father received him. So the brother was even annoyed, thinking that he was of no benefit to the father. But the father's joy was that at least the one who was prodigal has now returned back home. So he was happy. He celebrated his return. That's the meaning of boomerang generation. Once again, the term boomerang, boomerang, boomerang generation refers to young adults who leave home, try to live autonomous life, but fall and fail on hard times and return to parents, because you did not create yourself. And no matter who you are, you need someone to guide you in this house. That's why God God will not come to this earth to guide us as children. That's why he gave us parents. So the parents are God's delegates to nurture the younger ones. We continue. In some cases, why this behavior? Why the child has to leave, go and then waste money on his life and then returns again with an empty hand. In some cases, it happens due to improper training in money management. Some parents spoil their children with money. So maybe it happens due to improper training in money management. Running the household. Some parents are irresponsible in the home. They don't teach and they don't train. Or living up to daily responsibilities. Some are not able to cater for the children. So therefore, they are forced to leave home. Not all are leaving the home with money or some portion of properties. Some leave home out of a frustration. They try to travel from one country to the other. Now the same country, from one region to the other region, from one state to the other state. Try to earn a living. Thus, it is wise to train up your children for the responsibilities of adulthood. You have to train them well, so that when they grow, or even when they live as young adults, they can live on their own. Now, I will use myself as an example. I came to Takoradi in 1999. Of course, 9th November 1999. And it was the 10th that I started my apprenticeship, if I remember it well. Now, before then, I was tapping a wine, burning charcoal, and farming with my father. We were sleeping in the bush. And that was where he trained me. In fact, he trained me from when I finished my BEC was August 1998. So from August 1998 to November 9th, 1999, all those periods was for my training. And the training that my father gave me is what has been helping me since from 1999 till I'm speaking now. Even though I was a young adult, but I also had to leave home. It's a form of boomerang generation. But in my case, was not as a result of being prodigal, but I was to move from Elmina to Takoradi to learn work as an apprentice. And because my dad trained me very well, I've been living all this my life with caution. I don't drink, I don't womanize, I don't like going out. So always I am indoors. That's why if I'm hiring a room, I prefer a place where it is reserved so that I can focus on my life. So I was using myself as an example. See, training starts from teenage to young age before adulthood to old age. So you see, there are some classes of the life cycle. From teenage to young age. Then from adulthood to old age. So we say that training starts from a teenage to young age before adulthood to old age. If you're a teenager, you are staying with your parents. When you are adult, it's when you split, maybe to marry. You grow old, and then that will end it. It needs time for preparation. Training a child needs time, more time. During these stages, when I say this, you mean from teenage to young age, adulthood, and then to the old age. Or maybe let's even center our interest from teenage to young age. There are two stages. So that's why we say that during these stages, parents must be cautious of what they inculcate in their children, since there could be an adverse effect. During these stages, parents must be cautious of what they inculcate, what they implant, what they feed in their children, since there could be an adverse effect. I was saying that I was tapping a wine with my father in the bush. I never saw my father drunk. He didn't teach me alcoholism. He didn't teach me how to drink. Strictly, he prevented me from drinking. And he warned me against womanizing. He warned me against it. That I should be careful not to disgrace him, whether he lives or he's dead. Now, he's no more. These are the values that he inculcated in me. My mom taught me how to wash because I was coming to stay with my master and the wife. She taught me how to wash women's clothes and a whole lot. How to cook already. My father and then my mom, they had already taught me how to cook basic traditional foods. These are the foods that I cook now. Now that I'm living alone, or now that I'm living as an adult, I would say I can even say young adult. My father, when I came here in 1999, I returned back home 2003. But then I was a master. So when I returned from my hometown, the closing ceremony was done, and then I became a master. Now, when I went to my father, it was Christmas. Then I was celebrating Christmas. But I didn't know that celebrating Christmas was a sin. So I didn't know. So I went there on Christmas. Now, when I was returning, he didn't advise me. I was surprised. In fact, this shirt was bought to me, or for me, by my father. He bought it for me when I was an apprentice. He bought two. Same thing. Same color. He bought two. He had one and gave me one. So I have intentionally kept this to wear to remember him, though he's dead. Now that I'm here, I am only practicing what I was taught. That's why I've been saying that I don't drink, I don't womanize, I don't go out. I don't like outing, to go out and flex. No, I hate it. If I'm going out, then I should go with my family. It could be my brothers and sisters, the wife and children. Even that one, my interest isn't there. Okay. Now, if you are a father who has been drinking in the home, you are equally training your child with it. If you are a mother who loves to gossip, you are also inculcating gossip in your child or in your children. If the parents are fond of fighting and quarreling, you are training your child, your children with it. If you are a thief, if you are stealing, if you take bets, if you are fond of profanities, if you are fond of insults, whatever you do in the home, you are inculcating these values into your children. So in my own view, I believe that marriage isn't for people who are young or not matured in thought. If you don't marry for fun, that you also want to marry. No. You marry when you are ready, you are matured, you have understood love. Now when you love a partner, you won't even hate him or her. So the fighting in the home, the children too will learn. When the husband has turned the wife as a slave to always cook for him, you are training your daughter to despise marriage. She will see marriage as slavery. And you are teaching your son that when he marries, he must not do anything to support or to help the wife and the children. values are you inculcating into your teenager, your young age child, for his life in future or for her life in future? Whatever you do in the home, I saw my father serving my mother. I saw my father pounding and preparing palm soup. I saw my father washing his own clothes. I saw my father cooking for us, pounding fufu for us. In fact, my mother's younger sister, she's dead long time. She taught me how to pound fufu. My mom told her to teach me how to pound. Thank you so much, my junior mother, though she's no more there. But it was my father who polished me up in pounding fufu. That as you are pounding the fufu, you must also be cleaning the mortar alongside. So after I'm done pounding fufu, now inside the mortar, the kernels becomes so clean. I was taught by my father. And he also taught me that when you are pounding the fufu, you are to pound it in such a way that there will be, or the food, the fufu will be a bit soft, so that the person who is to stand to help you pound will not suffer. In fact, he taught me some inside techniques in which this my junior mother didn't teach. So you see that I've learned a lot from my father. As a matter of fact, I have just learned a lot from him. Why am I saying all this things? Because we are making reference to the training of a child in the home. That's why I'm using myself as because I don't know anyone to be used as an example. That's why I'm using myself. The adverse effect can be positive or negative. Mine is positive because I'm practicing what I was taught, how to wash, how to iron, how to do this, everything, how to fetch water, everything I do on my own. I don't have anyone, I have not sent anyone to come to my home and do anything for me. No. I do everything by myself. And the negative aspect is that if the parents were fighting, they were quarreling, the father was a womanizer, the mother was an alcoholic, and they were taking birth, this will also have an implication on the children. D. It's a question, and I will say, what is your child learning from you? Once again, we are trying to introduce. What is your child learning from you? Most young children are eager to work alongside their parents. Now I remember that I used the hoe to cut the heel of my father. So when I grew, then my mom told me that I was going to farm. I love to always work with my father. I loved working. And whatever they were doing, I was helping them. So when my father was going to read, I went with him. So which means that he bought me my small hoe. We have big hole, or bigger hole, and bigger hole, and then small hole. So as he was reading, then mistakenly, of course I didn't know what I did because I didn't know myself then. I had to cut his heel. So the scar was there. When he was alive, then my mom showed me that this wound was caused by you. I almost cried. Then she said that I cried a lot during that time. I loved my father so much that when someone, all this were told to me by my mother, that when my father was not there and they were even discussing about him, I'll be crying. So I was just attached to my father. Now, he was a farmer and I loved to work with him. So we think that most young children are eager to work alongside their parents. So you see that if you're a fishmonger and when you are washing, when you are cooking, the child will be crawling, and sometimes you might think that he or she is worrying you, or allow him or her to do what he or she wants. It's a way of also learning from you. It is best to use this opportunity to take advantage of this natural inclination by assigning chores around the home to them. Yes. So if you are washing in a basin and the child is disturbing, go and buy him or her a smaller basin pour some water in and put in some cloth. You see that he or she will imitate what you are doing. Don't send them away, that you are disturbing me, this and that, so that someone will carry the person away. No, we don't do that. It is best to use this opportunity to take advantage of this natural inclination by assigning chores around the home to them. Let them be active participants. You are in the kitchen and he is there scattering the utensils. Let him or her be. If I were you, I see that he or she is playing, in my own view. So far as there's nothing being destroyed. And you see that sometimes it is through this that you can officially know the exact trait that the child will have to choose in future. However, some parents are reluctant to do so, as they reason that more homework await them. So when the child is growing, let's say 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years, you are cooking, he or she wants to cook with you, and you sack him or her to go and do the homework. No, you don't do that. Why should you sack him or prevent him or her from helping you? You have to involve them. If you are pounding, they also want to hold the pestle. Let them hold it, even though it is going to slow your cooking and then your time. But at least it is good. That's the essence of being a parent. Your time consciousness will reduce. At times you are partially late compared to before. Sometimes you accommodate based on being a nursing mother. So we think that, however, some parents are reluctant to do so, as they reason that more homework await them. Oh, have go do your homework, then they will sack you. There's time for everything in the Bible. There's time for everything. But children who do chores, and I hope you are listening, but children who do chores are more likely to succeed at school, since chores teach them to accept assignments and complete tasks. So this means that, hey, go and then peel the yam and boil it. By asking him or her to peel the yam and boil it, you see there's a time for the starting and time for the completion. Go and fetch water or fetch water. I, for example, I don't like to hire a room to carry buckets to go and fetch water. I prefer a house where there's water there already, but at times you still have to fetch. So you can assign the child to fetch the water. It is time bound because he or she is not going to use almost the whole day to fetch. Now it is at 3 o'clock, for example. By 4:30 you are done fetching the water. Yes, mom. Yes, dad. So as he or she is working, she or he is also looking at the time. And sometimes when he or she is not able to finish, then there's a punishment for this child. So we are saying that, but children who do chores are more likely to succeed at school. That's why they can do their homework. Because in the home, you give them something to do at the kitchen. Go and sweep the kitchen. So you assign the work for them. The boys may be doing the dusting, the girls are sweeping. So they know that these are the work that they have to do. By so doing, they will also leave to complete a task, being a homework. They will not come and throw their bags elsewhere. Then you, the mother or the father, will have to go and then open this bag, open the books, and see in case he or she was given a homework. Now here we say that when we ignore our children's the eagerness, the zealness, the enthusiasm to participate when they are younger, they internalize the idea that contributing is irrelevant. When you prevent them from supporting you to work, they see that the contribution is of no value. doing chores. No, they also begin to expect that things will be done for them always. Yes, they become indolent. So the child is now old a bit, 10, 12, 13, 15 years. She sleeps and the parent will cook for her. He sleeps and the parent will cook for him. Doing chores train children to be contributors rather than consumers. They contribute, actively involved than being passive. Doing chores train children to be contributors rather than consumers, givers than takers. They give than to take. So they will help you than you doing it and giving to them. Chores help children to realize that they have a valued place in their family and a responsibility towards it. It means that you value them. Now consider yourself being at a company and your boss assigns you no work. Then it means that officially they are about to sack you because you are now irrelevant. When you give them work, they feel what you call sense of belonging. So finally, I am now part of the family. Sense of belonging. And they are also aware that there's a task on their head or on their shoulders. That's why I'm saying that church help children to realize that they have a valued place in their family and a responsibility towards it. Hey, clean the TV, clean the chairs. So now she can now boast that, Mom, I thought you were going to appreciate how I have cleaned the TV. Oh, okay. So there's a topic. Then you give it to her or him if he's a boy. He or she becomes happy and she or he will enjoy to do it every day and every day without you even wasting time to remind her. Do not keep them dependent on you or upon you. Do not keep them dependent on you. Don't let them always rely on you. You can die, travel, go to work. So train them to be self-dependent by teaching them how to bath, how to wash, how to brush their teeth, how to even prepare breakfast. So in case there's an emergency travel, sometimes you are to call your sister, your brother to come and then sleep or stay in your home and take care of your children. When you don't treat them well, this your sister or the assistant will insult them a lot, will even insult you. And say that the children, they will feel shy because now they have been exposed. You see? So train them well. E. We have an introduction. E. Any parent who refuse to train their children with the excuse that the new generation are stubborn depict irresponsibility. We hear this many a time, that nowadays children are stubborn. They are so stubborn that when they grow to become responsible adults, then the parents are saying it is by the grace of God. Yeah, it is true. God is the ultimate trainer. But you have your work. He also has his work. To train is actually a continuous and consistent approach. We read that train up. The word there is train, T-R-A-N, not trained. So it is not past, present, continuous. To train is actually a continuous and consistent approach. It is day in, day out, day by day, 24 hours, day by day, every day. So God said train. Stubborn children existed. Now, normally some don't even know whether their children are still virgins or not. Some parents, precisely the mothers, they don't even know that female children are mostly affected to their mothers. There are some few exceptional cases where the girl child loves the father more than the mother, but mostly when we find average, we are aware that mothers and their daughters, you see, the bond between them is unimaginable. And because of irresponsibility, they are not even aware whether this child is still a virgin or not. Because the child is a stranger to her. The bond has been broken. And when you lose your friendship with your child, oh, that's your end. That is your end. When you lose your friendship with your child, then you are dead. She can cause abortion. The boy too can go and then start drinking, and the father isn't aware. Don't sit nowhere to say that my child is stubborn, so I've stopped advising or training him. Then is where your work as a parent has become waste. Would have been good if you didn't give birth at all, because you have lost your purpose in this life. Stubborn children existed, but parents tried their best possible to still reform them. So what do you mean by in case your word is now disciplined child? Don't think it is your might, but by God's grace. Yeah, as I said, that for that one it is true. Only God. But here we are saying that, did you do your work? Have you stopped correcting your child because the new generation is stubborn? Because the new generation is stubborn, so therefore you have also brought your work into an end. You are an irresponsible parent. Would have been ideal not giving birth at all. Stubborn children existed, but parents tried their best possible to still reform them. There is absolutely nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. So to those who are now on retirement due to laziness, Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. I read, what has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. There is absolutely nothing new under the sun. So what do you mean by my child is stubborn? What do you mean by that? What do you mean that, or by saying my child is stubborn? He is stubborn, she is stubborn, and so what? What are you telling me? What should I do? It is none of my business. You gave birth to this child. You taught him your native language. You sent him to school. You sent him to school. You taught him how to bath, how to blush. So what has happened now? What has happened now? So far as the child is living with you as a teenager and young adult, he or she is still under your supervision and care. In adulthood is when he leaves to go and marry into old age. He dies, and then you are done. But so far as the child is still living under your roof, you are still trained. There is absolutely nothing new under the sun. Cain. So those of you who are now justifying yourself that in this generation the children are more stubborn. Now go to the Bible, Genesis 4 verse 9. Genesis 4 verse 9. Then the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? We call this impudence, gross insolence. Cain Cain had killed his brother Abel out of jealousy, envy. So God is asking him, where is your brother? He said, I don't know. Impudence, I don't know. 2, am I my brother's keeper? He was trying to insult God. So Cain invented arrogance. This is gross arrogance. Of course, I have a teaching on arrogance, and Cain is being used as an example there. Disrespect and pride towards God. So it was Cain who invented pride, arrogance. So Cain was the firstborn child in this life. When was Cain born? When did you give birth to a child? So why are you telling me that now the children or this generation are stubborn? There is nothing new in the sun. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. Nothing is new. What has happened is happening. Nothing new will happen. Everything which is happening now has happened before. The same world, same human beings, same blood is red, the bone is white, the hair is black. Of course, some have a different colors, but mostly the hair is black for we the Africans, precisely. There is nothing new under the sun. So what is happening has happened before. Human beings have been stubborn since creation. Same Genesis 6 verse 6. I love challenge a lot. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. God even repented. He regretted for creating human. Why? They were stubborn. They were killing, they were stealing, they were raping, womanizing, drinking. You mean they were being disobedient to God. So he repented, he regretted, and he grieved in his heart. Once again, what are you saying? That this generation is stubborn. God himself even regretted. That's why he burned the earth. I said he burned. He used water to kill them all. You have no excuse unless you don't learn the Bible. But when you begin to learn the Bible, you have no single excuse. Your excuse will be harbored by people who are carnal. But I, the same factor, will always disapprove that. What you are saying, you have no facts. F. Irresponsible and carnal parents are those who leave education and perishable properties as the only inheritance to their children. Once again, it is everywhere that all parents must educate their children or their child. I will say their children, sorry. And you see that they also assume that education is the best inheritance to a child. Yeah, it is true in some ways. But you could see that we are not going to heaven with our academic certificates. So even education is perishable. Giving top money and furnishing them with basic needs such as electronic gadgets, money, food, and clothing are all irresponsible parenthood. So I'm bringing the point, so at the end you will know why I'm saying all this. Yes, even in the Bible, it is saying that the parent must provide for the children, so the father must provide for the family. Yeah, it is true. I mean, you cannot eliminate it. But you have done nothing to provide all these things. You are saying responsible. You have done nothing to help them to pursue reputation and success. You are only helping them to pursue reputation and success, to go to school, to be of higher ranks, be respected. It will even bring them suffering. We are schooling and schooling and schooling and schooling, so we are suffering. No one is free by going to school. We are all suffering. We are even using education to corrupt the world. Some are scammers, fraudsters, they are using education. Certain corrupt people through education, technology, inheritance, and influence. Yes, as I was saying, education and technology, even inheritance. Someone will kill a father or a brother because he is the next of kin, or he's the heir. So when the father is keeping on to die, then he poisons him to die. You die, and then all what you have become his. It is by Satan's corruption. And then influence. So when you are an MP, when you have a higher rank in this society, you use your position to intimidate, to frighten people. However, the position is meant to be used to help or to support. Satan uses social trends to lure people intermittently into a nest of devils, so that people caught up in social trends unknowingly advocate money, material desires, fame, wickedness, and violence. Yes, those who have money now, they follow media. They read about people who are rich, who have money, how they rise to fame, or how they rose to fame, and how they are still rising. So they also want to follow them. Now, by social media, you can join Freemason for free. It is just by a WhatsApp or text message. Then, hey, by Facebook, there's a page, then you join. Social trends to lure people intermittently into a nest of devils. A nest, you know a nest. A nest is where a bird sleeps. So once you are in there, you got a position through bribery. So also you are also going to advocate for bribery. That's why we think that to also advocate money. So nowadays money is ruling. When you are rich, hey, then you are powerful. Material desires, you have car, this and that. Fame, a popularity, wickedness. Yes, I must sleep with you before giving you this work. And if you don't do it, there's no way the appointment will be given you. I am a gay, so become a gay before I will sign. And truly, when you accept, he or she will sign. When you refuse, off you go. And violence. People have manufactured weapons and a whole lot to kill. And then to intimidate their fellow human beings. All these are wisdom of the world. And for the wisdom of this world, it's foolishness with God. 1 Corinthians 11 verse 19. 1 Corinthians 11 verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. So I read only the A. All these are worldly wisdom. And God is saying that it is foolishness with me. Irresponsible parents will always give all the necessary perishable basic needs to children going to school. They'll buy you laptop, they'll buy you phone, they'll give you money, cosmetics, provisions. They'll give you everything. In fact, when you call that, Mom, Dad, my phone has spoiled, they will send you money instantly to go and buy to replace. They will never delay. There's no haste. Hey, Jesus is saying that his phone has spoiled. Oh, by force. If sometimes they will even go and credit it. They see it as a necessity that you cannot do without it. But they are not responsible enough to also give their words Bibles to school. I remember I asked this question at UMAT where I preach on Sundays. Now they are on vacation. They are resuming next year. So very soon I'll begin going there. Yes, I was asking them that. When you're coming to school, I was asking that, can I have a brother or a sister in which the parents bought him or her one Bible? Ask this question in your congregation. Even sometimes the preachers themselves, they forget to add Bibles to the trunk of their children going to school. Church members, most of us, we refuse to even share the word of God with those around us. When our children are going to school, Bible isn't even in our minds. No. So here we are saying that since you did not give them Bibles, why should you complain later that my child is a stubborn, he's now arrogant, recalcitrant, defiant, he is now into occultism, sexual activities, smoking, womanizing, manizing, being a fraud, and drinking? Why are you complaining? Why are you complaining? Education without the Bible is useless. This was said by Noah Webster. He is saying that education without the Bible is useless, virtually useless. So by giving your child education only, as I began on the point F, it's nothing. That education is the most appropriate inheritance. You have to add Bible to it to make it complete. Otherwise, your world will complete and become a foster. Most of them are gays and the lesbians. They have been joining a Freemason a whole lot. There's no way in the Bible where Freemason or Illuminati is supported. Drinking, womanizing, they are not in the Bible. We are all pilgrims and strangers on this earth. Hebrews 11 verse 18. Now the same thing can be found 1 Peter 2 verse 11. I'm opening, so whatever I open first, I will read. So Hebrews is here. Hebrews 11 verse 18. 11 verse 18. These all died in faith, now having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on earth. 1 Peter 2 verse 11. Beloved, I urge you, as sojourners and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts and war against the flesh. I repeat again. Beloved, I urge you, as sojourners and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts that war against the soul. We are pilgrims and strangers in this life. Once again, I said that we are not going to heaven with our educational set. Your qualification cannot even send you to hell. In case you are unaware, if you want to go to hell, start by killing. Work for Satan. Kill for Satan. When you start to kill for Satan, to take bribes, to drink, smoke, womanize, then this becomes your license. You're sent to hell. And if you want to go to heaven, learn the Bible, preach, and win souls for Christ in His church. So your master's, first degree, diploma, PhD will not even send you to hell. Do not lay your treasures on earth, but in heaven. Matthew 16 verse 19 and 20. So you are completely responsible by providing only for your children. I face facts in this life. So if you don't like the truth, there's no way you like me. Of course, I don't care. 19. And I will give Matthew 16. not lay your treasures on earth, but in heaven. So here we are saying that whatever you do in this life, our mindset might be that we are to be focused on what we are going to inherit in heaven. So if I were you, I will not waste more time to gather. Some have been gathering a lot in this life. They do a whole lot in this life, but I will not send you to heaven. I'm coming. A moment. Okay, we move on by saying that Colossians 3 verse 2. Colossians 3 verse 2. Colossians 3 verse 2. Set your mind on the things above, not on things on the earth. Very good. Do not lay your treasures on earth, but in heaven. Please, we have to use the Colossians 3 verse 2. All our minds or our mindset must be to do good. Now, for example, if you are a form of giving, when you give, the more you give to the needy, the more you are focusing on your heaven. When you take up to do God's work, that means that you're trying to lay your treasures in heaven. So here we are saying that set your mind on the things above, not on things on the earth. All these material things, they will all perish at the end. So that's why we're saying that perishable goods or items, give them Bibles, or giving them Bibles, set their minds on things above than things on earth or on the earth. Why? Since the earth will be burnt up. 2 Peter, I think that's 3 verse 10. So for this reason, your education certificate will be burned in this life. Your burdens are going to collapse. 2 Peter 3 verse 10. I'm sure. 3 verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein will be burnt up. All perishable goods, the phones, tablets, burdens, TV, cars, companies, will be burnt up. That's why Colossians 3 verse 2 is saying that focus on heaven. Our focus must be on heaven. By giving your child a Bible, you have also warned him or her to focus rather on heaven. We are not saying don't go to school, don't apply for work, don't earn a living, don't live a good life. But we are saying that they are all perishable. What is the problem? They will all perish. Even our own bodies are deceiving us. With time, we are all going. So I'm not going to remain the way I am. The last time I had a dream, and in the dream I was very old. Then I couldn't learn the Bible again. You see, as we're aging, the mind will also shrink. So because I couldn't learn the Bible and then teach again, I was just watching my videos, which I did when I was young. I said, wow. So let's say I was looking at my 30 years ago or 20 years ago, what I did in the past, and I was just enjoying. It was a dream. So I woke up and then I prayed to God for strength to continue this. Even at the old age, I can just share my teachings and sermons to the general public. And you see, by calculating, I saw that within 1 year, I've taught 61 teachings and 9 sermons. So 70 teachings within 1 year. That is from 25th November 2023 to 25th November 2024. 70 biblical teachings and sermons. So supposing that I was there idle, you see that I had wasted a lot of time doing nothing. Certain examples, so some parents would debate that, but I know of a priest, or maybe a pastor, a preacher, and a wife, or I have seen children who were brought up from Christian homes becoming the most corrupted children and satanic worshippers. There's no sense in this. Certain example stories of Christians brought up children becoming the most corrupted and devil worshippers. It's not wise. And what do you mean by that? So that just means that you won't even give birth. Yeah, because now they are saying that the children are stubborn. Why are people still giving birth? It all depends on how you train the child. A refusal to train your word based on others' stories is a gross disobedience and irresponsibility. That's based on people's stories that this child was a chorister, this man was before a preacher, and now he's into Freemason. This does not prevent you from training your child. That's what we're saying, that a refusal to train your word based on others' stories is a gross disobedience to God. You have disobeyed God. 2, you are an irresponsible parent. God says train, period. Train, that's all. He didn't give a cross that when he becomes stubborn, stop. No, he said train, period. G, we are on point G. I mean at the last intro. Godly parents use the Bible to train and discipline in the upbringing of their children as their legacy. So this is the text. The Proverbs 22 verse 6. Once again, I will read it. In fact, I love this so much. In fact, I got this topic when I was teaching the British Christian families. So this came, so at times, though I'll be teaching, but my mind too will be elsewhere. I don't know why and I have this. When I say my mind is elsewhere, it doesn't mean that my mind is divided. But I say that I will start to think about different topics, or different topics too will pop up in my mind. So the moment I'm done with the teaching, then I have to write it down, and then I'll start to type. So I was treating British Christian homes, and something told me that I have to add, train up the child in the Lord. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he's old, he will not depart from it. Even when he's old. So I'm saying that godly parents use the Bible to train and discipline in the upbringing of their children as their legacy. And this legacy will never fleet, will never ever expire. They inculcate biblical values into their words. Their biblical values. On Sunday, they go to church with them. In the home, they will do some Bible studies, morning devotion, they will play with them. When they are kneeling, the children too will kneel. Parents leave their children with the word. John 1 verse 1, which is the truth. John 8 verse 32, John 17, John 14 verse 6. The Jews taught their children to study and memorize the Torah. The Jews. Now, Pentateuch is from an ancient Greek word, Pentateuchos, which means Torah. The first 5 books, the first 5 law books of Moses. I mean, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Torah. Of course, I've written, I'm now pursuing a course. So my first exam was on the Torah. It wasn't easy. I learned for 6 months and I scored 80%. By God's grace, I almost failed. So, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The Greek prefix penta means 5. So we have a pentagon. When you hear of penta, you mean a polygon with 5-sided figure. So penta means 5. Pentagon, 5-sided, I think, polygon also. It was the study of the Torah that segregated, that segmented, that differentiated the Israelites from the Egyptians when in captivity under King Pharaoh. How can we differentiate your child from the world? How can we? How can I see that this child is a Christian? How can I know it? Or how will I know? Because the Israelites, they taught, they inculcated the Torah in their children. When they went into captivity, they could be segregated because their children could recite. We call it a rote learning. They could recite the Torah, and the Egyptians, because they were worldly, they were carnal, they didn't know God, so they were not interested in learning the Bible and even to know the ways of God. Basically, they were antichrist. So under King Pharaoh's captivity, you could see that this child is an Israelite, and this child is or was Israelite, and this child was Egyptian. Why? Because they could recite the Torah. By giving your word, the Bible, to school, you have directed him or her to search for a church, either inside campus or outside campus. Yes. Once you give your child the Bible, or you hide it, or maybe you hid it in the bag, so as he or she was trying to arrange the items, she or he saw the Bible. Now the implication is what? To start attending campus church, and if his or her church is not on campus, he or she will go out in search of a place to worship. This is called direction. Motion with direction. She knows or he knows where to church. By giving your word, the Bible, to school, you have directed him or her to search for a church to worship, either inside or outside campus. Maybe your word, maybe your word could have been distinct from the corrupted ones. Maybe if you have given, not all children, not all those who go to church are righteous. I myself am a sinner, so also you are a sinner. There's nobody who is upright. But I don't drink. At least I know drinking is a sin, womanizing is a sin, and others. I don't take a bet. Of course, I schooled in Kumasi for 4 years, and up till now, I know of only the station where you can take a car to turn back home. I didn't go there to tour the environment, and I had a very good class, and I competed. I was always learning. And before I went to Kumasi, my madam warned me that I must not go out after 6 p.m. And as you see me, I'm so obedient. I'm not saying this to better myself, but when I am advised and it is good, I obey once and for all. So for Kumasi, hardly will you see me going. I mean, why would I go out? Now, from the library of campus, when I'm coming, I will buy everything at some junction. So once I reach my hostel, but lie on my bed, then I rest the next morning. You see that all the rest will be watching movies. I watch movies a lot. In fact, I love watching movies. That's why I don't go out. I watch movies a lot. So from campus to hostel, I buy everything that I think I will need, so that now I will not be prompted to go out and then buy again. And I used this principle that I never went out after 6 p.m. in Kumasi. Why? Because she told me that at times you may meet some bad boys, thieves, and who want to rob you. If you're not careful, they may stab you. So always I was indoors. That's why I don't like outing. I just hate outing. So maybe by giving your word Bible to school, he or she could have been segregated from the bad ones. That's why we are using the word maybe. Not all the pastor's children are also good. Some drink, some are womanizers, some are manizers, some join Freemason, a whole lot. That's why we are using the word maybe. Now, definition of terms, and then we will end. Train. Train is the action of forming a person to acquire specific skills or type of behavior. To form a person to acquire specific skills or type of behavior. That's what the Bible is saying, train. So when they say train, you mean to form. And to form means to use a pattern. That we always use a pattern to form something. So you, the parent, you act as a pattern for your word to also imitate. It also refers to the result of good social upbringing. So socially, you bring up your word in a good manner, good behavior, good attitude. That's why we are saying, the Bible is saying, train. To form your child, to acquire specific skills. I want my child to worship God. I want him to be a chorister, be a good singer, be a good preacher, be a good teacher. I mean, in the Bible, to become a soldier, this and that, to acquire a particular skill. But this goes with formation. You are to mold. Now, parenthood, because I made mention of responsible parenthood. Now, parenthood is the state of being a biological parent. The opposite is parenting. Of course, in the subsequent teachings, we're still going to compare between parenthood and parenting. So this same thing I'm defining, I'm going to still define it again. Now, parenthood is the state of being a biological parent. So when you have given birth, we mean a father and mother have given birth. Let me say parenthood. It starts from pregnancy till death. When you give birth and your child has not died, you are still the mother, the father. It starts from pregnancy till death. That's a lifelong process. It stops when the child dies, and not when the child or children leave the home or leave the home. We mean boomerang. It stops when the child dies, and not when the children leave the home. No. When they leave the home, they are still under your care. You still give birth to them unless they are dead. Children are God's giving gift to parents through marriage. They came through marriage, or children come through marriage. Parents ought to nurture, teach, guide, and mentor them towards a successful future and in God's way. Children are God's giving gift to a parent through marriage. Parent ought means parents have to nurture, teach, guide, and mentor them towards a successful future and in God's word. So you sit down there and claim that children are stubborn, so you're not going to train them. I was just trying to warm up. This is just an introduction. This is just an introduction, and I suppose that you have heard a lot. Train up the child the way he should go, or train up the child in the Lord is our theme. And topic is responsible parenthood. And the text is Proverbs 22 verse 6. My name is Joseph Atta. And this will be throughout December. Of course, today is the 7th December, where Ghana is doing election. Yeah, today is December 7th, if I'm correct. So Ghana is now to elect. So throughout the December, maybe next year, January 2025, maybe the teachings will still go on. And so then, once again, thank you for your time. In fact, you have been doing so well. If you want to donate, because in fact, the data drains me a lot. So if you want to donate, my number is 0248 026557. Bye bye.